On behalf of Veritas and Frenkels, let me welcome you to their strategic debate on missold interest rate swaps.
I strongly believe that if a client is non-sophisticated, the amount involved is of supreme irrelevance. They should be afforded the highest degree of protection, but the way things stand, they've been excluded from the review. It's clearly unjust that thousands of small businesses, and when I say small businesses, they very much are at the small end of small. The very people who deserve the most protection have been excluded, simply due to sleight of hand when it comes to loan documentation.
There are still very, very bad habits in the banks. What we're looking for from the banks is for evidence that the banks have genuinely changed. How they deliver the redress to consumers is immensely important. If they get this right, then it is a sign that they're moving on. If they get it wrong, then it is a very, very clear sign that it's business as usual at banks, bad old business as usual. And clearly in this case, banks have got it wrong. They've only got a short period of time to prove to us that they're getting it right, and they're certainly running out of time.
If you pass up the flat rate redress and you want to go for a consequential loss claim and you get less under the consequential loss claim, you'll get less. You cannot bank that
And then try to get something better.
And then try to get something better.
You know, it's all over every letter that you don't need expert advice. I wonder if you can guess what the first thing the letter that says you ain't getting any redress says. You should go and seek expert advice.
The banks are absolutely struggling like polecats in order to get away from actually taking responsibility for this. And this is something which I'm quite alarmed about, is this whole element of being told you don't have to go and get professional advice, and then actually you do have to get professional advice.
Right now the banks are not only the defendants, but they're also the judge and jury in relation to their own case.
The bottom line is that there has been a huge problem with the senior managers of banks creating an accountability firewall between where they are and the front line of these banks. And we found this as being quite crucial to the whole culture of banks.
Well, that's how the mafia behaves. The mafia boss is never accountable to the ones on the ground.
They created their own names for something that was, we mentioned a structured collar, and they were deemed toxic right away. Well, let's not call it a structured collar, let's call it a discounted fixed rate range loan, sign here, and that's it. And that, by the fact that they did that, it's not viewed as a derivative product. Therefore, these people are not in the review because it's not viewed, an analogy, they put lipstick on a pig and managed to sneak it by the regulator.
But there's got to be pressure on the banks not to hustle the clients when they want to think about how they want to deal with the consequential loss claims.
What we want is people waking up in a cold sweat at 3 o'clock in the morning thinking, I've done something wrong, or there's something going on in my bank.
This has got to stop to restore trust and confidence in the banking system. It really has, and I'm afraid Parliament has got to take steps, if nobody else will, to deal with this. But nobody seems to be really taking action hard enough to sort this problem out.
You don't have to be a Philadelphia lawyer to work. When someone asks you the same question in 6 different ways, they're trying to get you to say something.
And if embedded swaps comes through as being the next big issue, then the government has really got to take steps to act on this.
When you listen to these stories, I mean, everybody here is obviously no doubt about how they've been let down by the banks and often misled and traduced by the banks. But should they not also have a feeling that they have been failed by the political system as well? There is a massive unfinished business and injustice rampant. What's going to happen?
The FCA, I think, is going to consult later on in the year about whether to extend the Ombudsman's jurisdiction in relation to small businesses. So I'm sure a number of people here might want to respond to that consultation, and then the FCA will consider that,
Now, I can have 50 people working for me, 4 hours a week, cleaners, whatever they are, and pay £6.31 as a minimum rate, and I'm sophisticated. Yet I can have 49 people working for me and pay them £1,000 a week, and I'm not.
It's like playing a game of football, in my view. One side knows the rules, doesn't tell you. The referee knows the rules, he isn't telling anybody, and he's blowing the whistle on you, the team, that has no idea what you're doing on the pitch in the first place.
There are ordinary, decent, hard-working people who have become terrible victims, and that Parliament and the government needs to reconnect with these people and do something about it and stop the hot air and give us some action.
Yeah.
The best thing about these events is that you get to hear from the individuals who have suffered the most, and that they get to express their views to the panel, particularly to the members of Parliament who have got the powers to change what's happened.
I think the event's important because it spreads awareness, and more pressure hopefully can be put on government, ministers, your own MPs, just to see the human side, and hopefully action can be taken, and there can be some results.
I think it's been a really interesting session. We've learnt a lot about the swaps mis-selling. I think the main thing that's come out tonight is the way the Financial Conduct Authority have mishandled the whole situation by using very artificial levels of sophistication and non-sophistication.
I think for me, the opportunity to try and ensure that everybody within the audience was aware of the disparity between the outcomes between the various banks was critical. I mean, Lloyds, this is really a 2 or 3 speed review. The FCA are really not staying on top of this, and the outcomes from the Lloyds group are very, very poor.
My name is Mike Cherry. I'm the National Policy Chairman for the Federation of Small Businesses. Really, really pleased with tonight's event. However, what is so dispiriting and so heartbreaking is the stories that have come out from the individual businesses tonight, and the slowness of the process still ongoing as it is. Whether we meet the end of May as the target, I have my doubts. I would just urge the regulator and the banks to really do everything that they possibly can to give redress to all of those businesses, sophisticated or unsophisticated, who actually deserve it and just need to move their businesses forward, to try growing their businesses again, put this behind them, and create the jobs that we so desperately need within the economy.
Well, I think a night like tonight is very important so that all the issues can be aired, and that something which has in the past been hidden can come out in as I say, a very professional manner.